Hey y'all! Pokemon Crystal using only one Chinchou was very illuminating, so let's continue this week with a Pokemon that is sure to be a doggone good run. This week, I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Crystal using only one Snubbull. As usual, the rules are I can only use Snubbull in battle, and I can't use any trainer items in battle. By the way, if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and check out more of these videos on my channel. Snubbull is best known for being one of the few new Johto Pokemon revealed in the Pikachu's Vacation short of Pokemon the First movie. And I actually really like Snubbull as a Pokemon and always wished that Granbull could be of more use in VGC since it has one of the best abilities, Intimidate. Which is a great ability, but I don't really think it fits Snubbull, because Snubble's just so cute and grumpy. As for the stats, well, they're not superb, especially that 30 base speed stat, however it's got some good things going for it. It's got decent attack, it's a normal type, and it has some great coverage moves as well. Well, it's officially the end of the summer, and since the dog days are over, let's get right into it. Off at Professor Elm's lab, I used the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to replace Totodile with Snubbull so that our rival will pick the Grass-type Chikorita. Snubbull isn't weak to any of the starter Pokemon, but I just find that between Razor Leaf and Reflect, Meganium is the most annoying to deal with, so I picked that one, just to make things more difficult. Snubbull is a fashionably fetching puppy with plenty of cuffs and frills, so I nicknamed ours Cuff McGruff. You know, like the crime dog. Snubbull starts off with Tackle, Scary Face, and Tail Whip. The first rival fight is pretty basic, with us both using Tackle, since, you know, at this point, Chikorita doesn't have any of its good moves, so it's kind of like a Goomba from Mario. It just tries to tackle us, with no follow-up plan, really. Hey, that's a great idea for a costume! I know what Snubbull's gonna be for Halloween. I call it Snaboomba. After beating Bubs, I head straight to the Violet City Gym to take on the Flying-type gym leader Faulkner. Along the way, Snubbull sniffed out a new move in Charm. This lowers the foe's attack by 2 stages, meaning with a single Charm, we essentially have physical damage. This really helps Snubbull to withstand gusts long enough to win this battle. It's really nice to get such a useful move for free, too. Normally you gotta pay a charm and a leg for it. Eh? After defeating Faulkner, I head to Azalea Town to take on Bugsy the Bug-type gym leader. His Scyther gives us a lot of trouble with Fury Cutter, which doubles in damage every turn, but it's nothing our little doggy can't handle. Bugsy's 2 Chrysalis critters go down without dealing damage, and then Snubbull hits level 20 right as Scyther comes out, which gives Snubbull an extra point of damage with each attack after damage rolls, thanks to how this game rounds the damage formula based upon your level. This will occur anytime our level ends in 0, 3, 5, or 8, and it's not something I usually mention, but it is something that I utilize whenever it's both necessary and or convenient. And after beating Bugsy, I have to take on the rival Bubs once again. And, well, he's a problem. His Bayleaf is super bulky and frequently critical hits with Razor Leaf for huge swaths of damage. Apropos to someone with a couple of badges, Cuff McGruff goes all bad cop on Bubs and paralyzes Bayleaf with Lick, which lets us cheese out a victory. And that was totally on accident, and not at all a purposeful misuse of power by someone with a badge. I mean, that's definitely not a thing that happens all the time, and this is definitely a metaphor. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't mean to get all political. Got him! Next up is the Goldenrod City Gym in the battle with Whitney's Miltank. I grabbed the TM for Headbutt in the Elex Forest along the way and taught it to Snubbull. Snubbull's hard head is able to bash Whitney's Bovine Behemoth for what was a surprisingly straightforward victory. Snubbull didn't even fight hard enough to wrinkle its collar, which is good, because that would be a fashion faux pas? Eh? Now, if you've watched these videos before, then you know that the next important battle with the rival Bubs of the Burnt Tower in Ecruteak City is always a royal pain, and we only win this one thanks to a critical hit. Our Snubbull is slow as molasses, and even with a Quick Claw to go first sometimes, Bite is not able to one-hit KO the Haunter. There's little we can do to stop from getting cursed, which usually makes losing inevitable, kinda like the war on drugs. I had to reset a ton, usually losing to a Bayleaf Razor Leaf, but also like the war on drugs, a little bit of grass is the least of our worries. The Zubat and Magnemite can confuse us, and then Snubbull is so hopped up that it does damage to itself. Something War on Drugs. Next up is the Ecruteak City Gym Leader Morty. He's the Ghost type Gym Leader, and we're a Normal type. And we've got a Dark type move and Bite, so it was pretty easy. Do you know it's not easy? Getting away from that rant I was just on. You see, the problem with the War on Drugs, and things like the DARE program, is that it doesn't address the real issue. No, the real issue is the rampant inbreeding of dogs for the sake of purebreds, which leads to them having horrible health complications. So today, let me be the first to start a new, more important initiative. Say no to pugs. Now that we can finally surf outside of battle, I set sail from Olivine City and head to the Cianwood City Gym to take on the Fighting type Gym Leader Chuck. He's the Fighting type Gym Leader, and we're a Normal type, so I was worried about Snubbull getting all chucked up, but we actually won on the first try. His Primeape lowers our defense with Leer, which would make Poliwrath's Dynamic Punch an easy one at KO, if not for the fact that it has doo-doo accuracy. Chuck's gonna get a $200 fine for not picking up after Dynamic Punch's accuracy. And don't do that thing where you bend over and pretend to pick it up. We can all see you don't have a bag, Chuck. After beating him, I head back to the Olivine City Gym to take on Jasmine, the Steel-type Gym Leader. She's really tough. So tough, in fact, that I have to teach Snubbull the TM for Fire Punch just to beat her. Even though it works off of her much lower special attack, it's a lot better than trying to fight her with physical moves. Thanks to Fire Punch, this is the rare occasion where life's problems can be solved with a hot dog. After beating Jasmine, I head to take on Price, the Ice-type Gym Leader in Mahogany Town. And by the time we get past all of the Team Rocket Lake of Rage shenanigans, we're at level 42, at which point, Headbutt blasts through Price's Pokemon faster than that iceberg blasted through the Titanic. And I haven't really mentioned this before, but Snubbull is in what's called the Fast Level Up group, meaning it's one of the group of Pokemon which levels up the fastest. Great name, I guess. I've avoided as many trainers as possible throughout the run, but like a dog barking at the wind, being overleveled is annoying, but also expected. In the Team Rocket Radio Tower anime arc, we take on the rival Bubs in the basement underground. And despite the fact that we are way overleveled, we're still really friggin' slow, and Bubs' Golbat is able to ransack our little doglet with confusion. No sweat off my back though, let's just try it again. This time, the confusion doesn't stick, and our powerful little pooch pulverized Bubs' Pokemon. Meganium puts up a decent fight by very astutely lowering our Headbutt's damage with Reflect. Thankfully, I still have the move Fire Punch, which is both super effective and special. You already witnessed how useful Fire Punch was back against Jasmine, so let me just say, thank goodness the Goldenrod City department store sells the Elemental Punch TMs. And you don't need me to retail you. Now it's time for the final Johto Gym Leader, Claire the Dragon-type trainer. As always, her Pokemon proved to be super annoying, what with the Thunder Wave spam and all. Poor little Snubbull keeps getting paralyzed and then washed away by Kingdra's Surf. And if we were faster, we could just one-hit KO all of her Pokemon, so it really goes to show just how important the speed stat is in these solo challenge runs. Even when I do manage to make it to the Kingdra without being paralyzed, it takes almost a full HP bar to survive 2 Surfs and knock it out. I seriously can't emphasize enough just how much more difficult challenge runs are for slower Pokemon. It turns what would otherwise be a walk in the park into a bit of a rough pooch. Before the Elite Four, we traverse Victory Road to take on our rival Bubs one last time. And before heading to the Elite Four, I made sure to grab the TM from the Goldenrod City department store for return. It's the strongest normal type move Snubbull can learn, and it makes quick work of all of Bubs' Pokemon. Even after being paralyzed by Magneton, Cuff McGruff just cannot be stopped. He's like a dog that got out of the house, just running around going all crazy. Snubbull even manages to 2-hit KO the Meganium through Reflect. I mean, that's crazy. I even dare say, it's mutts. Here are the stats and moves going into the Elite Four. Snubbull is at level 54, and while the moveset is pretty great, honestly the stats leave a lot to be desired. It's like my grandpappy used to say, you either gotta have good bulk or high speed. You can't have neither. Up first is the Elite Four Will, the Psychic Trainer. I have Snubbull holding the spell tag, which boosts the power of Ghost-type moves. Consider Snubbull's favorite game to be Fetch, because I'm gonna do nothing but throw Shadow Balls at will. there's still that tiny little problem about actually hitting our moves because we're slow as heckles and the Xatu likes to confuse us, and that's bad. I even managed to lose to Will because Snubbull was too busy chasing its own tail instead of attacking Exeggutor. Once the palm tree falls though, there's nothing to stop our little pupperoni from wrecking Will's Pokemon. Except of course for the other Xatu. Yay! Who doesn't love Confuse Ray? Not that I've ever used Confuse Ray. I mean, I would never reduce myself to such dog-eat-dog tactics. Next up is Koga, the Poison and Bug type Elite Four member. I heal up my Snubbull, adjust my Pee-Pee, and then switch out the spell tag for the Pink Bow, which boosts the power of normal type moves. The battle against Koga is a true return to form. I'm using return, everyone. Yeah, it's not a glamorous strategy, but hey, it works. Some strategies are like a finely groomed Springer Spaniel, and this one's kind of like a mangy junkyard dog. Just like that flea-bitten mutt too, Snubbull has to fend off countless bugs while avoiding toxic goo. Hey, at least we got to fire punch the fortress. After all, that was pretty snifty. Next up is the fighting type Elite Four member Bruno. I give Snubbull its next guard to cure that poison, and then head straight into Bruno's room, which is sweltering hot on account of all the lava. Don't worry about Snubbull though, the AC is running, and I've got his favorite tunes on. Bruno comes out of the gate, and as always, this battle is tough for a normal type. His Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee alone are able to take away most of our health, and it's actually the Onix that knocks us out, mainly because it outspeeds us. Heck, even the Machamp was slow enough to get knocked out in one hit, so the Onix being a problem, not a good sign. On the next attempt, I get to the Onix with a little bit more health, and I'm able to survive the Earthquakes and finish things up with Shadow Ball. In hindsight, I should have bought the TM for Ice Punch before the battle, but I didn't because, and bear with me here, I forgot. That would have made the Onix a 1-hit KO, plus I could have used the Ice-type coverage against Lance, but more on that later. Next up is the Dark-type Elite Four member Karen. Before I even talk about the battle, I need to point something out. Has anybody else noticed what the heck is up with Karen's hand here? Is that Ringworm? Is she offering us a chicken nugget? Is that the rosy palm my grandfather used to tell me so much about? Anyways, Karen is up to her usual shenanigans. Her Scumbreon lowers our accuracy with Sand Attack, so I guess today she chose evil. Thankfully, Snubbull has a keen sense of smell and uses it to thwap all of Karen's other Pokemon in a single hit. I've also heard Snubbull's nose can detect BS from a mile away. After all, it's called a Snubbull. Now it's time for the champion battle with the last member, Lance the Dragon Master. And I'm pretty sure this one's gonna be easy. Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. It was pretty bad. I heal up my pup and then head straight into the battle, and it turns out that Snubbull was full of bull. Lance was hard. If I've said it before, I'll say it again. If Snubbull wasn't so slow, this battle would have been a cakewalk. We can 1-hit KO a lot of Lance's Pokemon with Return, but because we're slower, we're open to being paralyzed by Thunder Wave. And after that, even if we can't attack through Twister Flinches and dodge full paralysis, we just take way too much damage to win. So I do the only reasonable thing. No. I don't go back through the Elite Four this time with Ice Punch, you know, the thing I wanted to do. We're already 1-hit KOing Lance's Pokemon with Return, and it's not going to 1-hit KO the Aerodactyl with Ice Punch anyways. Plus, that would push our level even higher. And I'm confident that I won't need a ton of extra levels to beat Red, so the idea of pushing past our already high level just for this one battle doesn't really sit well with me. No, instead I do what I always do, which is of course, to repeatedly reset this battle until all of the planets align in such a way that Mother Gaia blesses us with exactly the series of events that we need to win. Huzzah! And with Lance defeated, we have become the champion of the Pokemon League. But you know the run isn't over yet. I'm always going to consider beating the final Trainer Red as the true ending, unless of course, a Pokemon is just really, really bad. And with the Elite Four defeated, I hop on the SS Aqua and sail on over to Kanto to take on their 8 gym leaders to earn the right to challenge Red atop Mount Silver. And the first 7 gym leaders were not much trouble at all, so now it's time to take on the final Kanto gym leader, Blue. And this one was a pretty tough battle, until it wasn't. Using our Elite Four moveset, you see I got completely trounced. but once I taught Snubbull the TM for Curse, I won on the very first try. You see, Curse is the best stat boosting move for a ton of Pokemon in this game, mainly physical attackers that don't care about having their speed lowered. And since Snubbull is already slower than the American judicial system, it doesn't really matter that Curse drops our speed. With boosted defense, we're free to set up against Blue's Pidgeot while healing off minor damage with leftovers, and once the Bird Brain goes down, the rest of Blue's Pokemon are all cast asunder. Even the Arcanine, which manages to get a Flamethrower burn, can't stop the Snub, despite the burn having our attack. Curse is truly a magical move, which I guess makes Snubbull a Labracadabrador. With all 16 badges in hand, it's time to take on the final trainer, Red, atop Mount Silver. His team's pretty tough, and it doesn't take long for me to realize that we are way outmatched here, like a dog without a bone. And at our current level, I can't even knock out the Espeon. And you might be asking, how'll I ever get past Red? Why, by grinding to get more levels, of course. Who could have seen that coming? Am I right? Luckily, since we're in the fast level up group, this takes a lot less time than usual. And at level 85, I finally make some leeway. I can reliably knock out the Espeon, but the Snorlax wrecks us with devastating body slams, so I have to be sure to get a good amount of curses before I knock out the Pikachu and the Espeon. Pikachu's Charm also doesn't help, lowering our attack by 2 stages, which is, 2 curses of attack boost. And even if I do manage to get to the Snorlax, it's often sitting behind Espeon's Reflect, which essentially doubles its defense, which again is worth 2 more of our curse attack boost. Plus, on top of that, Body Slam can, and often does, paralyze Snubbull, making it no better than a tired old lapdog. Even when I finally do manage to make it past the Snorlax, Venusaur sets up a Sunny Day to boost Charizard's Flamethrower, which almost knocks us out. See, you thought using Protect and Leftovers to stall for health was cheap. More like necessary. And even after all of that, we need Blastoise to miss a Blizzard in order for us to knock it out and finally beat Red. I mean, how hard was this battle, you ask? Like trying to get a dog and a cat to square dance together, that's how. And with that, the challenge is over. Snubbull has all the makings of a great Pokemon, but like a purebred show dog, it comes with complications. It has a good typing, a great move pool, and the attack stat to bring it all together, but the abysmal speed stat really screws the pooch. It might fall a bit short, but all Snubbull really needs to do to be a better Pokemon is unleash its potential. As always, I want to thank you for making it to the end of this video. These videos are a lot of fun, but also a lot of work, so I really do appreciate it. There's a playlist on my channel where you can find the rest of my Pokemon Challenge videos if you want to check those out as well. And if you like this kind of content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you'll know right away the next time one of these episodes is uploaded. And if you want early access to these videos and to have your name listed in the credits, consider becoming a member or joining on Patreon. And let me know in the comments what are the Pokemon you want to see, and I'll probably do it. Next week, I'm going to try to beat Pokemon Red using only one Sandshrew. Anyways, until next time,